Alrighty, so I've done 2 ghost stories so far that happened to my family. This is a third, and as far as I can tell, I think this is the last one. I don't really know any more that actually happened to my family.
Mm-hmm. I have one that happened to my family.
Oh, you can tell that one later.
I can tell that one later, yes.
Yeah. So, in the spirit of Halloween right around the corner, and screw you 2020, we're gonna tell another ghost story. This one was told to me by my mom. We got some people fishing. This takes place in the house, my grandparents' house, that I told you guys about in one of my previous videos. That's on the edge of Rest Haven Memorial Cemetery, which is a gigantic cemetery, huge, humongous. I found a video the other day of somebody walking around it, and it took them like 20 minutes, and they didn't even do half the cemetery. But it's kind of cool to see it again, because my brother and I got to see some of those old statues and stuff. But it's been there forever. It's huge, and their property literally backs right up to it, one of the back corners. So my mom has 2 siblings. I believe an older sister and definitely an older brother. And my mom and her sister used to share a room growing up. And Corky, their brother, he had his own room. But my grandparents were very strict with my parents, or so the story goes. They were very strict with my mom and her sister. And so when they said they had to go to bed, they had to go to bed. Like, they washed up, put their PJs on, went to bed, turned off the lights. But my grandparents would come in periodically and check on them, just to make sure that they were doing what they're supposed to be doing, which was sleeping and not up over, reading a book or chatting or giggling or whatever. So they would just,
as girls are wont to do.
Yeah. And their bedroom door was usually shut, because my grandparents didn't go to bed right when they did, so they shut their bedroom door, but they would peek in every now and then. So the way this story goes is, one night my mom woke up because somebody had come into the room, and she kind of opened her eyes just a little bit, because she was always careful if, like, her mom did come in, to pretend like she was asleep, at least, and
Classic kid move.
right. So she kind of just peeked a little bit, and the room was pitch black. And there was somebody at the foot of her bed. Right? And there was somebody standing there. She couldn't really see because it's dark and she was asleep, so she's coming out of that. And she kind of clears her eyes a little bit and looks a little bit more. And the figure moves. And now it comes over to the side of the bed. So then my mom just shuts her eyes completely, because she's thinking it's my mom. She's checking to see if we're awake. I don't want to get in trouble. So she's laying there on her back, and this figure is standing like inches from her on the side of the bed. And then she feels something. This is the part where it gets really weird. She feels a hand on her boob. Now, this is my mom telling my brother and I this story when we were young. So that's already a little disconcerting, that somebody's grabbing my mom's boob. Right? But it was weird, because she said it was just somebody putting their hand on her boob, and not, just standing there like that. And she thought, what the heck is my mom doing? Why is she, was she checking to see if I'm breathing? Why is her hand on my boob? And why, if she put it on my boob, didn't she realize it's on my boob and then move it? Should I wake up? Is she trying to wake me up? Is she trying to nudge me? What's going on? So she opens her eyes, and the lady looking down at her was not her mother, was not my grandmother. Complete stranger. She couldn't see through her. She wasn't glowing. She was just weird looking and dressed very strangely, right? So my mom immediately starts to get a little nervous, thinking maybe there's an intruder in the house. What should she do? Oh my God, she's about to scream. So she closes her eyes and she's thinking all these things like, I'm going to scream, I'm going to scream, I'm going to scream. And the hand goes, it just moves, just disappears. So my mom opens her eyes again and now she's about to lose it. And there's nobody there. The door was shut to their bedroom. The room is completely pitch black. She sits up in bed, reaches for the lamp, and my Aunt Sylvia, my mom's sister, was already awake. And she looks over and goes, was that Mom? And Sylvia looked back and said, that was not Mom. They both knew immediately something was off, right? So they were kind of freaking out and they thought, oh my God, there's somebody in the house. But here's how my mom told the story. She said, we were scared, but we were nervous to tell my parents at the same time. They thought they would think we were making stuff up. But apparently they did. This isn't one of those stories, well, we didn't tell anybody. No, they got up and went and woke I think my grandparents were asleep at this point, and said what had happened. And literally they kind of brushed it off. But at the same time, they didn't say, you're imagining things. That's, go back to sleep. You were having a dream. They just kind of brushed it off a little bit, right? Which at the time when my mom was telling me this, I thought that makes no sense. No parent in their right mind is going to brush something like that off unless, what if they knew the house was haunted? What if they had seen things before? What if they had experienced things in the house? Now they can't move, right? Maybe they were in a position where they couldn't move.
Or didn't want to.
Maybe they were okay with it. But what? Of course, my mom's telling us this story in the car on the way to stay with my grandparents. Like I told you guys in another video, my brother and I used to stay with my grandparents a few weeks out of the year in the summer.
That's hilarious.
We'd spend half that amount of time with the Kellys, my mom's side of the family, and half that amount of time with the Shockleys, my dad's side of the family.
And tell them what room you slept in with the Kellys.
Yeah, the room, no joke, the room that we slept in was that room. And my brother and I, my sister, my mom and her sister, they used to share a double bed, right? And my brother and I shared that exact same bed. You want to hear something else that's really creepy about that room? My grandmother collected porcelain dolls.
Oh, Lord.
Like straight up Annabelle dolls. And my brother and I used to collect them all and put them in the closet. Because even at, 8, 9, 10 years old, they were still creepy. These are the ones that, they'd blink at you,
Oh, yeah.
Oh. But yeah, she told us that story on the way to stay with our grandparents.
I bet you when your parents dropped you guys off, they got back in the car and were like,
You know what? I was thinking, maybe that's just she's just making something up.
Uh-huh.
She just wants us to sleep at night and don't make,
or not sleep.
or pay attention and blah, blah, blah. Be on our best behavior. Maybe the ghost will come get you. I don't know.
Yeah.
We thought maybe it was a joke. So I asked my grandmother, that story, and my grandmother was so matter of fact about it. And even my grandfather they were just like, well, they came in and they told us they saw somebody in their room one night. We didn't see them. And that was it. But what? So there, my brother and I going to bed every single night, wondering if I'm going to wake up and some lady's going to have her hand on my boob.
On your moob.
On my man boob. But yeah, that's just, that was a weird story. Not necessarily scary. I guess it's a little spooky.
Yeah, that's spooky.
But just very kind of,
Yeah.
creepy,
And I always, after you told me that story,
Mm-hmm.
I always wondered, because if you start thinking about, they talk about ghosts that are aware versus ghosts that are just kind of like
an echo.
Yeah, an echo, and they just repeat the same thing. And I'm like,
residual.
Of all the places to touch somebody,
right?
But then just be like, Okay, I'm out.
Stand
You know,
there.
it's like, so it's creepy for a woman to think of someone touching them without their permission, but at the same time, it's like, was that just, she wasn't reaching maybe for your mom, but she was just reaching for, like, that was something she had done in her life. Like she had
Check the baby or
she
something.
had checked the baby, or she had checked, you know, the breathing on someone, or she had gone to cover someone up and just held their hand there for a second. So it always makes me wonder, like, was that
she doing?
purposeful, or was it just residual, and that was just where her boob
Well, it
was?
wasn't residual because the lady reacted to my mom. She looked down at her and looked her in the eyes.
Oh,
right?
You didn't say that part.
Yeah, I did. Didn't I?
Not just now.
Yeah, no. Like, my mom looked up when she was like, why is my mom standing there with her hand on my boob?
Man.
And the lady looked down at her, like, made eye contact.
Huh. Well, that's
Oh dear.
so I guess maybe not
Is that Virginia?
residual.
Is that Jenny? Yeah.
Hi, pretty girl.
Very strange.
Hi, you sure are pretty. No, I don't think that's, actually that might be Ginny, but the coat's fold out, so I don't know. Maybe behind her, one of the two behind her.
Are there more behind her?
There's two more down back in the
Oh, I see.
in the holler.
Down in the holler by the creek.
Hi, you can tell how the deer feel about us here.
Yeah, they don't care.
Yeah, like just to give an idea, look at me.
Like, do you know how many ghosts are around here? We don't care about you humans.
We see all the ghosts.
Oh yeah, there are two more.
Yep.
Little baby in the back. So yeah, that's it. I don't really have any more ghost stories.
That part I did
Like
not
that.
know. I did not remember you telling previously
That she looked down at her.
that they made eye contact.
Oh yeah, they made eye contact, and Aunt Sylvia saw it and said that was not mom. You know, I don't know who that was. So yeah, very, very creepy. That was a creepy story from my mom to tell us. But that's
on
it.
your way to the sleep in the room where it happened.
Yeah.
That's just mean.
That might have been when I asked my grandfather about, and my grandmother about that story. That might have been when he told us the story about the statue going.
You know, I seem to remember in the past maybe that's what
Triggered
he told
it.
me.
Yeah.
That he was like, but.
Yeah, very weird. I don't really have any other ghost stories like that happened to my family. I've heard others that happened to friends and their family.
Oh, sure.
We'll be able to tell those, and you can tell yours one day.
Yes.
But that's it for today. Today's little ghost story.
We have one. We had a couple.
You and I? Yeah, the one at the in Virginia
Yeah.
Beach. Yeah,
Yes.
that was creepy, man.
There were a couple separate incidents. There were 3 separate incidents,
Yeah.
but that were all like in the first month of moving to that house. So maybe that we'll save those for
We'll do another vlog on
the
those.
next
Yeah.
vlog, because those are weird too.
We might have enough to get all the way through Halloween.
Maybe.
So the spooky stories are in due part because it's coming up on Halloween, but also I'm releasing my first short story, which is a novelette, which is a scary story. First time I've ever written one of those. Yeah, and the new book series coming out, Fate, or the first book in that series called Lineage, is about vampires. So yeah, I just thought, do I have any spooky stories? Those are definitely spooky,
Yeah.
but some more than others.
And yeah, 'cause the next ones that we'll tell about us are not from childhood.
No, this happened to us when we were adults, and it was just more bizarre than spooky.
By the third time, it got spooky.
Yeah,
The third time was like,
definitely strange. We'll talk about those at another date. But yeah, that's it for today. And yes, Lineage. You'll see more information on that book coming out here soon. The cover concept is done. The book is going up, so hopefully it'll be available. I can't remember what date it is going up. Second week in October, I think. So
I think you said like the 15th,
something like
like
that.
halfway
Yeah.
through the month.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can pre-order it now, which is really cool that Amazon lets you do that. I don't know about Barnes & Nobles and some of the other places, but Amazon will definitely let you pre-order it. All right, guys, we'll see you later.
Peace.
Just in case you don't believe us about the deer.
Hello, ladies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And you notice that they're not really.
Yeah, they could care less.
The babies are a little skittish, but
There's probably more down here.
they're everywhere.
More deer than people out here, that's for sure.